Can I change my life in 6 months? We're gonna find out. Hey Dragonlings, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes paranormal romance unnamed Hegyes, and today we're going to talk about a 6-month challenge that several people have been doing recently. I don't know exactly what's going on with it or why like everyone's doing it at once, but I'm jumping on the bandwagon, especially since my word/phrase of the year was magical girl transformation. And I have not been embodying that, so it's time to do so. So let's go ahead and talk about this 6-month challenge, what I'm planning to do with it, and how I'm going to make everything work, hopefully. Possibly. Maybe. If you want to follow along on my journey for the next 6 months, feel free to subscribe to my channel, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about this. So recently I have seen several videos from various people, both in the author community and outside of the community, talking about different challenges that are basically going to change their lives forever. And the first video I saw about this was from Jenna Streety. All videos I mentioned will be linked in the description, plus a couple of extras that I've seen since then. And in Jenna's video, she mentioned Kiara, I think is her name. Yes, Kiara. She mentioned Kiara. Kiara was not a authortuber or a booktuber, but she was the one that Jenna looked to start her challenge. And I went and as soon as Jenna mentioned her, I paused the video with Jenna and I went and watched Kiara's video, just because Kiara was near the end of her 6 months journey. She's got one video as of this recording left to post, talking about and wrapping it up. And Jenna was getting ready to start her 6-month journey. Plus, Jenna was changing hers and kind of adapting the rules that Kiara put in her video to meet Jenna's own needs. Like she was changing some of the rules to match her lifestyle. There are other authors who have done something similar in the past or are getting ready to do something similar. Sarah Cannon has her 6 months for life that she does. And then Katie Wismer is getting ready to do is currently doing a 75 hard challenge. And basically what I wanted to do was I wanted to take little bits and pieces from all these videos and all these challenges, and I wanted to create my own challenge and make it work for my personal life and around everything that I've got going on. And I'm calling it the Magical Girl Transformation because my word/phrase of the year was Magical Girl Transformation. Think of Sailor Moon or Tokyo Mew Mew or Cardcaptor Sakura. However, I have not been embodying the term Magical Girl Transformation because I have not had any transformations this year. It's been pretty much everything bogging me down. And there has been no metamorphoses, and I'm hoping this challenge will kickstart that and kind of change all of that. What exactly am I going to be doing? I have a list of goals that I want to accomplish over the next 6 months. Some of these are one and dones. Some of these are things I have started, whether they're habits or activities I have started, and I just want to start tracking them to see how often I'm doing them, or I want to do them more and I want to track them in order to make sure that I am doing so. Some of these are ones that I've been wanting to do and I haven't, gotten the kick in the seat to do them, so I want to, force myself to with loving admonishment when I don't do them. Basically. The idea with these goals is I'm not going to be tackling everything at once. So I'm going to be like filtering a little bit in here and there across the 6 months. And with the final plan that by the end of the 6 months, anything that's not a one and done, that's something that I'm like trying to add into my routine, I continue doing as the year progresses. And that by the end of the 6 months, anything that I still want to do and I want to continue doing for like lifetime purposes, I will be doing. So I will have gotten in the routine of doing them and added them to my schedule and made sure that I put a plan in place that allows me to strategically keep those things going without burning myself out, without overextending myself, without string up the rest of my life around other people. because the thing I've noticed with a lot of these challenges, I think Sarah Cannon's 6 months for life is the only exception that I've seen to this. But most of the people I've seen doing these kind of challenges, they either have partners but no children, or they have no partners, no children. In the case of some of the authors, authorship is their only job, it's their main source of income. So there's just different factors involved that are different from my own life. And so I've had to adapt this challenge to successfully revolve around my life and make it something that I can complete. Basically, I want to make it so that these are habits and things that I'm doing that I build up over the next 6 months, so that I am successfully completing them by the end of the 6 months. It's not going to be one of those things where, like, if I don't succeed the first time, I failed, I'm done kind of thing. No, I'm acknowledging that they are going to be some things that I fail along the way. What exactly is this challenge? This challenge is basically adding in steps to your life, whether it's routines, habits, and a few other things, and kind of building them into your life to basically get the life you want and make it so that you are living your dream life, basically. And that's essentially what this is all. It's all about building up to the dream life, the life that you want, where you are happy, healthy, and motivated to continue going. That is the essence of this particular challenge. Whether you call it the 6 months to change my life, Jenna is calling it the 185 insane challenge, Sarah Cannon has her 6 months for life, Katie Wismer's is the 75 hard challenge. No matter what the name is, no matter what it entails, no matter what parameters you put on yourself, the idea is to build your dream life, the life you want to live and succeed at, where you are happy and healthy. That is the essential goal. The 6 months that I'm going to be doing this are from June 1st to December 14th. And yes, I realize that is more than 6 months. However, I do have a trip coming up the end of October, beginning of November. I am traveling from Montana to North Carolina for my sister's wedding. And because I'm doing that, I want to basically give myself a break during that time from trying to do this challenge. I'm not saying that I won't do the things that are related to this challenge, but what I'm saying is that I don't want that pressure on myself. So I'm basically pretending those 2 weeks don't exist, and I'm giving myself an extra 2 weeks in December in order to accomplish this challenge, just for the ease of mind kind of thing. And because I don't want that pressure, I don't want to feel like I'm failing because there's some things that I possibly can't do while on that trip that I would normally do in like my own household. It's also given me a chance to set myself up for a win, because this isn't a challenge because of the fact that this is trying to build up to the life you want. The idea is not to fail. There are things I'm possibly going to fail at during the challenge, but the idea that overall you're building up to the life you want, so I don't want to set myself up for failure. And in doing so, I have added on those extra couple of weeks. For this particular challenge, most people focus on a couple different areas of their life. Jenna has a whole list of rules, and I took lots of copious notes from lots of different videos on how people were trying to do this challenge for themselves. And in trying to adapt this for myself, I have come up with 13 different categories. And that is a lot. But again, it goes back to some of these I'm already doing, some of these are one and dones, some of these are routines that I want to add in that I probably should be doing anyways. It's just a matter of like what is going on with my life and how I'm adapting it. So 13 categories with 3 goals in each categories. And if you do the math, which of course I didn't do before I started this video, 3 times 3 is 9, 1 times 3 is 3, that's 39 goals total, I believe, if my math is correct. For the categories, we've got physical health, mental health, finances, overall intelligence, routines, image, social life, social media, hobbies, reading, community. For the goals that I have in each category, again, some of these are ones and dones. Some of these are things I'm already doing, and I just want to track it to see how often I'm doing them. Some of these things are things I'm doing, but I'm not doing that often, and I want to include them more often. Each category is different. Each item within the category, each goal within the category is different. It just varies. So for the first goal, physical health, this is the one where I'm not going to be talking about diets and I'm not going to be talking about weights. So no worries there if you need that kind of trigger warning. What I am going to be talking about is like my own physical health as far as like exercise goes. If you've been around my channel for a while, you possibly know that I have no desire to lose weight. I am happy with my weight. Doctors consider me obese. I don't care. I am happy with my weight. However, I have jokingly, semi-jokingly said that I want to be strong like women who fight bear in forest. And that's kind of like a motivation for me because it is absolutely true. I do not want to lose weight, but I do want to be strong. And so these goals that I've given myself are more so meant for that. For physical health, I have that I want to walk 5K steps daily, and this may increase. So 5,000 steps per day, and it may increase. I actually recently repurchased a step counter watch, as well as an anklet. And the reason I bought the anklet is because I do a lot of work where I stand in one place, but my hands are constantly moving. And since this judges by your hand movement, I thought it might be easier to get one that goes around my anklet when I'm at work. So I got that to count my steps so I can try to get my 5,000 steps per day. At one point before I killed my previous watch, I was getting like 10,000 steps per day on a day that I worked. And that's the reason I lowered it to 5,000 steps is because on days that I'm not working, I want to make sure I still get that physical activity in. And I think 5,000 steps is much easier for me to achieve than 10,000. And then the reason it may increase is I might find that I'm easily doing 5,000 steps on any given day, including days I'm off. And so I may increase that over time. The second goal that I have under this category is that I want to develop an exercise routine. I actually recently bought a ab machine. I have a membership with a gym, which I have been going to doing off and on. I've been mostly using the treadmill when I've gone to the gym, but I want to get to the point where I am lifting weights. I used to lift weights in high school. I have not sought that particular activity out only because of the fact that I do not feel comfortable lifting weights without a spotter. I want to do like bench press and stuff like that. Bench press and squats are the main two that I want to do, and I do not feel comfortable doing those without a spotter. And I've been doing those, I've been going to the gym during my lunch breaks at work, which means it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and there's no one at the gym. So no. So my plan is I've got the ab machine so I can start using that and actively working out with that. I thought it was on sale, but the other thing I want to eventually get is some dumbbells and maybe even a kettlebell to add into my regime as well, but we'll see. For now, those will, it's another one of those things, we're going to add them in slowly. Been doing the treadmill, been doing some steps. We're going to be adding in the ab machine, and then we'll go from there. The third and final goal under this category is the fact that I want to drink 64 ounces of water a day. If you've been to my streams, the only thing you've ever seen me really drink are Monsters and Pepsi. And the reason for that is because that's pretty much all I drink. For a while there, I was doing really good. I had a water bottle that I had at work, and it stayed at work, and it stayed on my work cart. And I would drink water from the water bottle and refill it, and I would drink my daily ounce of water. Except for there was, I took a vacation. I forgot my bottle at work. And it was moldy when I came back, and I threw it out, and I haven't bought a new one until recently. But I haven't drank water since then. Like, legit, I have not drank water. If you don't know, we have to haul water to my house, and so we buy bottled water, and I make sure that the bottled water is there for the kids. So, time to change that. So, what I recently did is I bought myself a new cup. And this cup doubles. It's got a different lid, so it can be a water bottle, but it's got a thermos lid, so it can be a coffee cup as well. So I bought this cup, and this is a 32 ounce container. Carrying this when it's full is interesting, but another workout basically. So basically I get to fill this twice a day. I'll drink one at work and one at home, and I'll fill it when I come home, and I bring this back and forth. Did I already? No, okay. I thought I scuffed it. Nope. So I've got this cup. That's 32 ounces, and I get to fill it up twice a day in order to get my daily water intake. So far, I haven't been able to make it through one. There's a little bit of water in this. I thought it was empty. I thought I finished it. I did not. The second category is mental health. Very important to take care of your mental health. I know everyone spouts off that you should get a therapist, and while I 100% agree with that, I also realize that not everyone can afford a therapist. I am in that category that I cannot afford a therapist. I have health insurance through my work. However, the health insurance does not cover much under therapy, and therapy sessions are fucking expensive, so that is fun. So that's why I can't do therapy. So yes, I 100% agree. Go to therapy if you need it. I also understand not everyone can afford therapy. So that being said, under mental health, my 3 goals are that I want to regulate emotions. I am very hot-tempered. I'm very quick to anger. I am very quick to cool down after that anger. Basically, let me go off, let me explode like a volcano, and then I'll be fine, and I'll be done. And it's like Pompeii. Everything cools. That was a bad example. Sorry. Bad example. Apologies. Still, my temper is very much like a volcano in the fact that I explode. And then after I've had a chance to come down and calm down, I am fine. However, I would like to get better about regulating that anger so I don't explode. And this is why I should go to therapy, which is actually my second goal. My second goal is to start therapy. I would like to be able, I am looking into some resources now. One of the resources I'm looking into, I am not sponsored. This is not a sponsored video, though if they want to sponsor me, maybe they'll help me afford it. Just saying. One of the things I'm looking into is an app called BetterHelp, where they ask you a whole bunch of questions and they assign you a therapist. However, that does cost money, and I don't know the cost. That's what I'm researching. So still a long way to go with that as far as like figuring out if I can do that. But start therapy is my second goal. By the end of the 6 months, I would like to have started some therapy sessions, and we'll see how that goes. So, third goal under my mental health is that I want to build a journaling habit. I do journal. I keep a journal. I'm using a B6 right now with then she getting thick. However, there are times I go days without journaling, and this is one of the ways that helps regulate my emotions, because basically I can spill my guts in this journal and be fine. I vent in here, and this is my venting journal. Helps me regulate emotions, but there are times that I go periods without writing in here. In fact, actually, there's a whole bunch of days in April that are, empty because I put the stickers down but didn't write shit. So that's what I mean. I want to get back into doing this daily, and we'll get into further details about how I'm planning on doing that in the future. But for now, just know that one of my goals is to build a journaling habit to the point where I am journaling every day for a little bit every day. Third category is finances. Finances are important. I've always, growing up, I was considered middle class. We grew up breeding and raising Shetland ponies and Shetland pony crosses, so it always felt like we didn't have any money. But let me tell you this, especially now in these day and ages, I have looked at the costs of how much it costs to keep horses and ponies, and there is no way my family was poor, which is what I always thought growing up. I always thought my family was poor because we never seemed to have money for anything else other than the horses and ponies. Accurate. We were not poor. If you have horses and ponies, let me tell you this. You are not poor by any stretch of the imagination, because they are so fucking expensive. If you're taking care of them correctly, I mean. Let's be real. That being said, I don't know why I went off that tangent. That was not even the point. I am so sorry. Finances, my 3 goals. My first goal is that I want to save $600 a month, $100 each month. And this is of my personal fund money. My husband and I, when we get our paychecks, one of the first things we do is we get our fund money. I tend to use my fund money for stationery. I tend to use my fund money for video games. I tend to use my fund money for my Monster energy drinks. he uses his fund money for other things that are none of my fucking business, because that's the whole point of our fund money, is that it is nobody, we cannot tell each other what we can use our fund money for. It's for whatever we want to use our fund money for. My point is that I want to save $600. Goal number 2 is that I want to find a part-time remote job. Remote is probable, but let's be real, if I can find a part-time job, even if it's not remote, I'm okay-ish with that. That's part of where my savings is going to come from, because right now, as it stands, my husband and I both, I have a full-time job. His is part-time to full-time. It's like just under full-time. It's one of those jobs where they try to work you up to as many hours as they can, but there's times where they have to give you less, so they can't quantify you as full-time. But especially, he works in the hotel business. He's a house cleaner. He's a housekeeper at a hotel. And during the summer especially, when it's really busy, there's going to be times he's getting 40 plus hours a week, but during the winter he's going to get like maybe 20. It's great. If you know, you know. Anyways, with that being said, I do want to find a part-time job. Remote would be preferable for those times when there's like mountains of snow on the ground and I cannot get out of my own driveway. But I will take a non-remote job if I have to. And again, all the finances that I make from that remote job, because what I was getting at with talking about my husband's job versus my job is that together, between him and I, we make enough to cover our bills and still be able to give each other fun money. So I want anything I make from the part-time job to go towards that savings. And then my third goal under finances is that I want to start a Patreon. I have been thinking about starting a Patreon off and on since 2018. I actually have one of my planners, one of my journals from 2018 has details about what I wanted to include in my own Patreon. It's time for me to sit down, do some research into what other people are doing, what other people offer their patrons, and then go ahead and do it, because I've been talking about it for six-ish, seven-ish years. I can't count. 2018 to 2025. 5, 6, 7 years now. 7 years I've been talking about doing a Patreon. It is time to just sit down and actually fucking do it. Fourth category, overall intelligence. Because I am smart sometimes, but I'm not smart all the time. I have smart moments is what I like to tell people. So my 3 goals under that is that I want to learn different languages. Originally I had learned French because French is the one that I started learning in high school. I took 2 years of French in high school, and I have dabbled in relearning it over the years since then. However, it's time to actively start learning another language, and I want to learn French. I want to continue learning French, but the other one that I want to actively start learning, putting more into practice, is American Sign Language. I would like to get, I know the alphabet, I know a couple words here and there, and that's it. That's the extent of my knowledge, and it's time to change that. I want to learn American Sign Language. So for my first goal is that I want to learn different languages, and those are the 2 languages, the main ones. And then eventually I would like to learn Spanish as well, because Spanish is one of the more used language in the United States after English. And then I also want to learn Gaelic. Gaelic is just fun. I want to learn Gaelic for me. In 6 months' time, not going to happen. The 2 I'm focusing on in the next 6 months are French and ASL. We'll get to other languages once I've mastered those. And I don't suspect I'm going to master them in 6 months either. Probably not. Goal number 2 under overall intelligence is that I want to study a new topic every month. And what I mean by this is just do some fun little research, whether I read a nonfiction book about a specific topic, take a course on a specific topic, just go randomly research, not using AI, not using Wikipedia, about different topics, just to like get some knowledge and learn some things. Let me do me a learning kind of thing. And on top of all that, I want to, within the next 6 months, complete 2 to 4 courses. 2, 3 or 4 courses. Oh my god. If I'm not confusing you, I'm confusing me. And if I'm not confusing me, I might be confusing you. And I don't mean to be confusing. I apologize. But yes, complete 2 to 4 courses. I'm currently in the middle of 1 course now. And it's going to take me, I'm actually in the middle of 2 courses now. One is job specific, one is not. It's just for funsies, which I'm okay with. Not all the courses have to be job specific. because again, it goes back to my studying a new topic every month. If I complete those, technically I'll have completed this goal, so this goal might change. If I get to, like, if we're 3 months in and I've completed 4 courses already, of course I will shift this and change it a little bit more, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. We'll see. The next category was routines. Again, this goes back to some of these things I'm already doing and I just haven't been tracking them, or they're things like with the journaling that I do off and on, but I want to get like more of a daily practice into it. And that is where these goals come in. So the first goal under the routines is that I want to establish both a morning and evening routine. That's actually where the journaling comes in, because I want this to be part of my evening routine. Basically, I work nights and then I'm awake during the day on the weekends. So the way I figure this is that my evening routine is the thing I do before I go to bed, whereas my morning routine is the thing I do when I wake up. So I eventually want my journaling to be part of my evening routine, but I also draw tarot and oracle cards, and I want that to be part of my morning routine, so that I'm offsetting them a little bit. There's other things that I want to add into both my morning and evening routine that I'm either doing but not tracking, and I don't know how often I'm doing them, or I do want to start like implementing them, period. The second goal is that I want to stick to a sleep schedule. My sleep schedule is all over the place, and it's a mixture of having to be there for everyone, doing everything all the time, because I am a mom of 2 teenagers, both of which are active in various activities outside of school. And then I also am married. My husband and I have been together for 13 years, but we all 4 of us share one vehicle. So my sleep schedule sometimes means that I get like a 2-hour nap in the truck while waiting for people between different activities. And that's just how it works. So I want to get more of a set sleep schedule, and I want to stick to said sleep schedule. Then the last goal that I have under routines is that I want to make sure I schedule days off, and I want to make sure that I don't feel guilty about taking them off, because there are days where I'm like, oh, I should be doing this XYZ because I am so behind, or I should be doing ABC because the XYZ needs to get done, but ABC needs to be done before XYZ can be done. No. I want to make sure that if I need to take a day off, I take it off, and I do not feel guilty about taking that day off. How this is going to work, I'm not exactly certain yet. What I will say is this. If I am sicker than a dog and I'm bedridden, that is automatically going to be one of those days. Because there are too many times where I am sicker than a dog and I still get up and I still do work. And I want to make sure that I'm allowing myself that if I'm sicker than a dog, I don't do that. And I'm okay with that. So other than that, I don't know exactly how this is going to work. I don't know how I'm going to schedule those days off. I don't know how I'm going to track that so I'm not taking too many days off. I don't have a set schedule as far as like how many days I want to take off. That's all up in the air still. We'll figure it out. I'll tell you when I know. The next category is image. This is like physical looks. Though image for you, if you are doing this challenge, could be anything you want. For me, the first goal is that I want to update my wardrobe to match my personal style. Every once in a while, I see videos of people dressing for Ren Fair, and I look at them and I'm like, I would wear that every day of the week if I could. And it made me realize that I don't exactly know. I do, but I don't know what my personal style is, and I definitely do not wear my personal style on a day-to-day basis. So what I want to use the next 6 months to do is figure out what my personal style is, what I particularly like, and then I want to start like buying pieces here and there, not all at once, for my wardrobe that match my personal style. I kind of have a tinkering of an idea of what my style is, but it's time for me to actually implement it and figure it out for sure and make sure I get all the pieces to dress that way, the way I want to. Then the other thing I want to do, my second goal, is that I want to have a full hair transformation. As of right now, I have an undercut that is growing out and tries to stick up every once in a while. I've got my roots growing out, my natural hair color growing out from the blonde that was, the last time I dyed it, it was dyed green. So it's kind of like this, it reminds me of blonde hair when it's been in the pool. I have not been in the pool this year. So that's what it looks like right now, but I want a full hair transformation. There is a hairstyle, I will include screenshots here of my character in my most recent video game that I'm playing that has this hairstyle. That's the hairstyle I want. And I want to make sure I also, basically I want to trim my undercut, but I'm going to change the shape of it, and I'm going to grow out some of my hair, which is why I don't mind that this is longer. The other thing I'm doing is I want all of my long hair to be bleached again so I can color it again, because I miss coloring, but I never colored the undercut. I only colored the long hair. All that being said, it's time for a full hair transformation, and by the end of the 6 months I hope to do that, at least to start it. I know for me personally it's taken me, I think this is 6 months worth of growth. This is 6 months worth of growth, not this, sorry. This is 6 months worth of growth, because I think the last time I colored my hair was December of 2024. So but I've been cutting my undercut here and there, and with changing the shape of my undercut and with bleaching the hair and with coloring the hair, it's gonna be a bit. Then the third and final goal that I have under this category is that I want to develop a nail care routine. I am one of those people that I do not bite my nails, but I do rip them off when they get too long, and then I tear apart my cuticles. In fact, actually right now I've got some ugly looking nails right now because I keep tearing up the cuticles. My thumb is getting the worst of it right now. And because of that, what I have found is that when my nails are done, when they are pretty, I tear them apart less. That is one of my anxiety things, is that when I get anxious, I tear up my fingers and I tear the little loose bits of skin off. So I have found that when my nails are done and they're pretty, I look at them and I'm like, I don't want to mess them up. They're pretty. I don't want to ruin it. And I don't touch them as much. So that's why I want to develop a nail care routine, so that either I'm doing them at home or I'm going out to a salon and having a professional do it, which is probably the better option, even though it's pricier. The next category is social life, and this one is real simple. I want to hang out with friends, whether that's online or in real life. I just want to make sure I'm doing that often enough and getting that social interaction in. I love my friends, I really do, but I do not hang out with them enough, both in real life or online, and I want to do more of that. The other thing I want to do is that I am down for making new friends, both in real life and online. If you're watching this video and you want to be friends, I'm all for that. And then a thing I used to do that I haven't done often since I've moved up here to Montana 4 years ago, it's been 4 years, I used to send cards and letters to my friends, and I used to have pen pals. I want to get back in the habit. That's my third goal, is to send letters and cards to friends and family and get back into doing pen pal stuff. Like, I used to be on top of that, and I haven't been lately, and it's time to change that. The next category is social media. Again, real simple. The first goal is that I want to post to social media 3 times a week. It could be any platform. It's more than likely going to be YouTube. Because YouTube is my favorite social media. I do not like Instagram since they changed it from squares to rectangles. I have never been a fan of Twitter. I like TikTok as far as like watching it. However, I have never posted onto TikTok. I don't know why I've got as many followers as I do, because I don't post anything. I don't even repost things. So that's fun. But more than likely it'll be YouTube. But 3 times a week is what I want to post. And then the next 2 are more social media restrictions. One is for work days, one is for weekends. The weekends might change only if I get a part-time job that requires me to work weekends. That's neither here nor there. All of these goals are subject to change based on factors from other things within the goals. So for work days, the social media restrictions is that from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. when I should be like sleeping and spending time with family, no social media. The only exception is like when someone messages me. I'm talking, as far as the restrictions go, I'm talking like scrolling, doom scrolling. I do a lot of doom scrolling. I do it to avoid doing other things. So I want to do less doom scrolling. And so from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on work days, I want to try not to doom scroll. And then on weekends, 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. is what I'm going with. Both of them are like 12-hour shifts. 12?
8 to 12 is 4. 12 to 6 is 6. That's more than 12. No, it's not. Less. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's more than 10.
The 9 to 9 is 12 hours. The 8 to 6 is 10 hours. Yes, I think my math is right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, that's all I've got for social media. The next category is hobbies. And hobbies, again, is really simple. It's stuff I've done in the past. I'm just bringing it back in. And the first goal is that I want to practice flute. When my kids decided to do band, even though they tried it for a year and decided they didn't like it, I did end up buying a new flute to replace my old one that I played when I was in middle school. And I got a pretty blue one. And so I want to practice it. The other thing I want to do is I used to do scrapbooking. Again, since we've moved up here, I have not once done any scrapbooking. I've got those photo boxes. I've got one, I think maybe 2 photo boxes full of pictures that moved up here with us with the intention of me putting them in a scrapbook, and I haven't done it yet. And then of course I've gone mostly digital over the past, how old are my kids? 13, 14, 15 years? In the past 15 years, most of my pictures are digital. That means I need to print those out and put them in scrapbooks too. But let's get through the physical ones first. And then we'll go to digital. The third and final goal is a hodgepodge of stuff, but it's all interrelated, and that is dealing with my media consumption. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of movies. I am a hobby video gamer in the fact that I tend to play every once in a while on weekends, typically with my husband. And I basically binge gaming for a few hours, and then I go months without doing anything. And I want to kind of fix that. I want to bring in more media consumption other than reading. And what I mean by that is that I want to watch 1 to 2 movies every week, or 1 to 6 TV episodes every week, or play video games 1 to 2 hours every week. Because again, I will go weeks without touching any outside source of media other than books. Reading is its own thing. We'll get to that eventually. In fact, actually, we're going to get that now. Reading. Reading is the next category. And what I want to do is I want to read for 30 minutes a day. This one is fairly easy because when I am at work, I tend to listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I'm going to get more than 30 minutes read a day. But I also read a lot of ebooks when I'm at different events waiting for the kids. Very, very sustainable. I've already been doing it. It's just a matter of tracking it and making sure I'm completing it. The second goal as far as reading goes is that I want to read 1 nonfiction book a month. This could be related to that topic I'm studying the month, or it could be an outside nonfiction book. I have a lot of craft books where I've read bits and pieces, but I've never actually read the entire book, and I want to kind of change that as well. So 1 nonfiction book a month. I think that's doable, but nonfiction is really hard for me to read, so definitely going to be a challenge. And then the third and final goal is that I want to participate in 6 different reading challenges or marathons. I am currently taking part in 2, so I need 4 more in the next 6 months, but I am starting to follow more booktubers now, so I think this is doable. It's just a matter of me sitting down and actually doing it. The next category is community. And for this one, under the first goal that I have under this one is that I want to volunteer 10 hours a month. My kids are actually required from 6th grade to 12th grade in the school that they're at. They are required to do 10 hours of community service in order to graduate. That's part of their graduation requirements, is that they have to do 10 hours of community service every year. I am basically, that's 6 years for them. I am condensing that into the 6 months, so I want to do 10 hours every month. How I'm going to do this, I haven't figured that out yet. I'm going to have to find some ways to volunteer in the community. I know of a couple of different events I might be able to do this with, but there is also some things that I might not. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research. I'm going to have to study some topics. See how some of these can be related? The second goal that I have under this category is that I want to donate $50 a month to a charity or cause of my choosing. Every once in a while I talk about my goals for a publishing company and the fact that I want to do anthologies that are charity anthologies where all proceeds are donated to different charities, and I've got some of those charities picked out, whereas I'll pick some other ones later depending on when the anthologies come out. But that is what I want to kind of do now, is that I want to pick different charities or different causes that I personally feel affected by or personally relate to, and I want to make sure I am donating to those causes and charities. The third and final goal that I have under community is that I want to support local businesses as I can. I live in a very small town. There are a lot of local businesses. There's actually very few non-local businesses. There are very few corporations. The number of corporations in this town are few and far between. Most of these companies are locally owned businesses, and I want to support them more versus going to big corporations or like Amazon in order to buy the things I need. Am I still going to do that? Yes, I am. Because let's face it, sometimes the prices are cheaper, and it's not if it's like necessity related. I mean, times are hard, guys. Times are hard. There's going to be some things I will not be able to get locally, either because it's not available locally or it's available locally but at like 3 times the cost. The next to last category I have is writing. I have, again, 3 goals under this one. The first one being that I want to do 2 25-minute writing sprints from Monday through Friday. So every day I want to do 2 writing sprints. How I'm going to work this? Possibly I'm going to be adding them into that evening and morning routine. Might not. But in my mind, that's the easiest way to do it, is that I have 1 sprint in the morning, 1 sprint in the evening. And these writing sprints will be, the reason I'm doing it by time versus like how much writing I want to accomplish is because of the fact that there's other things that are part of the writing experience for me that are not quantifiable by word counts. It's not just writing, it's not just drafting. There is editing, there is formatting, there is getting everything ready for publication as far as like back matter, front matter, acknowledgements. Not all of that includes word counts. So I want to track by time versus word count from now on, or at least for the 6-month period. Will I still be tracking word counts? Yes, I will, but that's a different topic. Anyways, for this particular, as long as I'm working on writing related things, whether that is drafting, editing, formatting, other publishing related items that conglomerate under writing, those can be done during those 25-minute sprints. Goal number 2 that I have for this category is that I want to do 2 7-day book challenges. This is a writing challenge. I'll have a link in the description talking more about that. It's a writing challenge I've been hosting for a while now, and I've actually got the dates for the next 2 picked. They are within this 6-month period. The first one is in June. The next one is in June, and then the one after that is in September. I will put the dates on the screen for when those are happening. If you are interested in joining us for that, I will have more information to come in the future about that. Then the third and final goal under this category is that I want to track any and all writing progress that I make in Notion. I built this Notion up with a writing journal where I was talking bullet points, basically what I was working on and how it was going, and I was doing really good with that. I was using it nonstop until like mid to beginning of April, beginning to middle of April, and I just stopped using it completely. So I want to get back in the habit of using it again. The last category I have, category number 13, lucky number 13, is author career. Because while this is only like a hobby for me currently, I will not be upset if it someday becomes a full-time job. Is that within the cards in the next 5 years? Maybe. We'll see. Not right now. Right now it's just a hobby. But I need to start treating it like a business. I need to start treating it like a career if I want to ever see it come to fruition. And because of that, my 3 goals are that I want to prep and use this bad boy. This is a 5-year planner. I created it. It's chunky already. With this 5-year planner, the only thing I'm doing is tracking writing related and publishing related things. And what I mean by that is that I am tracking publishing schedules for my own works. I am tracking events that I want to go to, whether as just a viewer, a consumer, or as eventually an author. I'm tracking different writing challenges that either I'm participating in or others are hosting or things like that. Even if I'm not participating in them, they will go in here. Anything writing and publishing related will go in the 5-year tracker. five-year planner so I can start figuring out what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. The next goal that I have is that I want to find and schedule 2 to 3 author events in 2025 to 2026. This is going to be events that I not necessarily just go to, again, as a consumer, as someone who's just going to go, but also with the potential of going there as an author in the future. Probably not in the year of 2025 or 2026, but checking them out so I can, in the future, attend them as such. Maybe even attend them as such, and there's different events that I am looking into and researching for the possibility of attending, but when I find them, they will go in here so I can start checking them out. The third and final goal that I have for this last category is that I want to prep and schedule all of my 2026 publishing projects. I am currently working on a 7-book short story series, and I would like to at least have all of those written, edited, polished, formatted, prepped, and ready to go before the end of this year so that they can be published in 2026. But there's also a few other projects I'm working on here and there that I want the same thing for. I want them ready to go. And I want to make sure that everything that I am publishing in 2026 is prepped and ready to go. Because I have published some books in the past. I've got 3 different series going, and I don't know when the next books are coming out in those series because I have not finished those books. And so I want to prevent that in the future, and by making sure everything is ready to go before I start publishing book 1, it'll be much easier for me to get that way. So everything I want to publish in 2026, I want completed by the end of this challenge. I want this to use the next 6 months to make sure anything I am publishing in 2026 is ready and raring to go. Let's do it. Let's buckle down and get her done. That was terrible. That was terrible. I'm sorry. So there you have it. 6 months to transform myself like a magical girl from either Sailor Moon or Tokyo Mew Mew or Cardcaptor Sakura. Originally, I was going to also show you my trackers and how I was using it and how I'm going to be tracking everything that I want to implement and how I'm working into that. However, this video is already extremely long, so that's going to have to be its own separate video. If you're interested in seeing that, feel free to subscribe to my channel so you can be notified whenever I do post that, which will hopefully be in the next couple weeks. Otherwise, if you've made it this far in the video, leave me a shooting star or comment emoji and let me know. My question for you today is this challenge something you are interested in? I know I didn't really leave a lot of details in how others were doing it, only what I was doing, but that's because it's a little hard to explain. Hopefully I explained it well enough to make it understood. But let me know if this is a challenge you're interested in trying, and if so, what were some of your goals? And if so, what would some of your goals be if you did it? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, a general reminder that I actually have my 10-year anniversary coming up on YouTube very soon, like middle of June soon, and I keep forgetting about it. So if you have any questions you'd like me to answer in a Q&A, go ahead and drop those in the comment section. I will have a link to a form that you can also fill out if you'd rather, so that you can do that instead. And I will be answering those in a Q&A video live stream. I haven't decided which I'm going to do. Probably going to be a video on the 17th. So anyways, thank you all for joining me today, and yeah, let's do this. 6 months. 6 months starting in June. Let's do this. I'll see you all later. Bye, Dragonlings.